Started out on live, man, that was the play. Streaming every night, building up the sway. But as the sight faded, I had to find my way. Now I'm hopping platforms, surfing through the fray. Got my crew behind me, yeah, we call them givers. Chillin' IRL, catching all the rivers. Farkle in the chat, bringing loss to the grind. Talking crypto games while we sippin' Jack Fine. Gives a minute, yeah, we take our time. Living in the moment, the life's subtle wine. From the land down under, streaming through the night. New Zealand's vibe, surfing waves day to night. Always looking for the next thrill, that's where I ignite. Community so solid, always shining bright. Rolling, rolling deep and cruising for the height. From the struggle to the stream, it's all just a game. But with the giver found, we're making our name. Jacking crypto profits, life just gets sweeter. Every view and every stream, making life a keeper. Give us a minute, yeah, we take our time. Living in the moment, life's a subtle wine. From the land down under, streaming through the night. Got my heart on my sleeve, everything feels right. So here's to the journey, no regrets in sight. Each laugh and each tear, it's a beautiful fight. Keep the wave rolling, let the good vibes flow. We're the givers, together in the show. Give us a minute, yeah, we take our time. Living in the moment, the life's a subtle wine. From the land down under, streaming through the night. Got my heart on my sleeve, everything feels right. Service, I would play a game. From start to next, I'm chasing fame. With fear behind me, changing seas. So through it and then living out the dream. Got my acoustic strong, curing and chill. Far cracking jokes, go stop the thrill. In the land of kiwis, we ride the waves. Our own streams phone, no better days. Give us a minute, yeah, we take our time. Living in the moment, the life's a subtle rhyme.
Hello the internet, it is Monday the 9th of March 2026 and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Netskis. Hello Netskis. It sucks I cannot talk on Kick, but what the fuck. I'm not sure what's going on there for you on the Kick machine. There is obviously an issue there. I don't know how to rectify it. I'll watch here and on DLive. The only trouble with that is you can't trigger the alerts, man. But that's okay, you don't have to have the alerts, I guess. Not everyone wants to trigger alerts. But I'd like to know what happened. I'd like to know why they've given you the El Buto. But either way, we're going to talk today a little about, did you know there is an Australian bobsled team? Now, the sport is called bobsleigh, which is even gnarlier, sleighing, right? Bobsleigh. But we all know it as bobsled. And there's an Australian team. And how do I know this? Yesterday, you saw Claudia cutting my hair, and you met briefly Ryan, her boyfriend. Well, Ryan's cousin is in the Australian bobsleigh team. And he was talking last night about how that they're over there at the Winter Olympics. And I was like, Australian bobsled team? We have one? Like, it doesn't feel like a sport that Australia would have any connection to, right? Like, and so we got talking about it, and I just wanted to do a stream today just to explore a little, you know. We'll ask the GPT machine. We got a couple of videos to look at. I didn't think that this would be a thing in the country, Australia. Like, we don't have a huge sporting presence outside of the big, you know, the rugby union and the rugby leagues and all that stuff, which is like the full-blown bogan stuff, right? We don't really have... Look, to be fair, I always poo-poo this, but I don't really know much about it, so I probably should shut my big fat gob. I don't follow sports very much. I mean, I obviously skateboarding and surfing and, the extreme sports, and I'm a bandwagon World Cup football fan. I'm definitely interested in watching Australia bow out of the World Cup very quickly, which is happening in a few months now. March, April, May, June. Yeah, June. So when I heard that there was a bobsled team, that piqued my interest. And so we talked a little about it. And what I found out was that the athletes that compete in the joint, or I think it's called 2s and 4s, so 2 people in the bobsled or 4 people in the bobsled, the athletes that perform in these events, well, the Australian ones, they're athletes in other categories and other sports as well, and that crosses over. So he said that like the strength that you need for like most of the bobsled is gravity, right? Like you just push this thing and then let gravity do its work. So you got to be strong on the push. So the pushing and the physical coordination to get, because once they start pushing that sled, you've got to all be inside of it before it crosses over a particular point on the track or on the trail. And that's where the skill comes in. And after that, it's just hang on for dear life, essentially. Well, not really, but you've also got to G-forces and position your body in the right corner and all that stuff. And so, yeah, he was saying that a lot of the athletes are also performing in other events, typically weightlifting. They're big on that. And then they also compete in the bobsled. And they've got to do it. There's nowhere in Australia. There's no bobsled track in Australia. So they got to live overseas. And I think his friend or his cousin was living in, I think he said France, or was it Netherlands? Might have been the Netherlands. And then they go to meet to join the competition circuit, because there's no circuit in Australia. There's no qualifying. There's no, yeah. And by the way, Australia is lousy, like unassumably, what's the word where it's not surprisingly, we're crap at it, right? They're so bad. I think like the top place they've ever come is like 16th, something horrendously low. Yeah, there's no, and by the way, they spend their own money to compete. So there's no government funding. Like some of the biggest sports within Australia, and I believe skateboarding is like this now. Even though it's very fresh to the Olympics, skateboarding has got some funding behind it as well. But sports like, breakdancing was a funny one from the last Olympics. People often misjudge. No, wrong word again. People often conclude incorrectly that breakdancing was removed from the Olympics because of this ray gun situation, but it actually wasn't. The Olympics were already about to yank that from competition before that incident occurred. That's the Summer Olympics that we're talking about, winter for bobsled. And why are we talking about breakdancing? Oh, because it's a weird sport and Australia doesn't have a great, well, you might say after her performance, we don't have one at all, but either way, those kind of sports that don't have a huge representation, they get kind of shunned upon. And I understand that there is a maximum amount of sports in the Olympics. So if you say we want to bring in a new sport or even a new discipline within a sport, like let's say for skateboarding, let's say we wanted to bring in vert skating into the Olympics. I don't know why it's not there. It's only bowl skating and street skating, or park and street. There should be vert as well, right? Vertical skateboarding should be part of it. It's been part of skateboarding for as long as skateboarding. But anyway, to get that into the Olympics, to get that discipline in, they've got to take one out. So something has to be removed. And one of the more lousy sports that doesn't get much of a run in usually gets removed in favor of putting in a new, more modernized sport, or a more, like a more followed sport or a more commercial sport, let's say. Because, I mean, the bulk of it is about making money, right? If it wasn't about making money, they'd have all the sports and it would go on for months, right? Like go on forever, and it would just be like a sporting event, but it's about money, right? Obviously, it's big sponsorship, endorsements, broadcasting rights, athlete sponsors, and all that kind of hoo-ha. But interestingly, so we're going to talk more about the bobsled, but interestingly, skateboarding took so long to get to the Olympics, but now that it's there, there are a lot of people finding themselves interested in that sport and seeing that there's a viable and a valid reason for kids to be at the skate park as opposed to out there on those e-bikes tearing up the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like skateboarding is now perceived like it should be as a healthy activity for the young people and for the old people. Not myself anymore. I've ejected. Yeah, and it blows me away. It blew me away to watch the Olympics with skateboarding. I was quite chuffed. And Kieran Woolley, he's absolute shredder. Keep an eye on that guy if you're interested in Olympic skateboarding. Kieran Woolley he'll be up there, gold medal for sure. So Netsky, Kik won't send a verification email. Not sure why. Okay, interesting. I don't know what to tell you, man. Let's ask the GPT machine. What am I going to ask it exactly? I'm not sure. How come Australia? I'm going to ask it the most obvious question first up. How come Australia has a bobsleigh team? And it's sleigh, man. Bobsleigh team. I love that. Bobsleigh team. Olympic, I should have said. Olympic team. How come Australia has one? The short answer is because Olympic teams don't need snow at home to exist. We do have snow here, though. Australia can send athletes to winter sports as long as they qualify internationally. The country has actually been doing that for decades. Here's how it works. Winter sport. I want to talk about the bobsleigh. Bobsleigh is actually very similar to a power sprint and coordinated sport. Explosive athletes transition well. Australia recruits athletes from, I've talked about this, most Aussie bobsledders start somewhere else. Common background is the sprint, rugby players, track cyclists, and gridiron. We don't have gridiron in this country. The start of a bobsled run is basically a 40 to 50 meter all-out push, so raw power matters more than growing up on snow. I guess I did ask it a pretty loaded question. Qualification is based on international rankings. Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Australia actually has a long bobsleigh history. Competed in bobsleigh since the 1988 Calgary Winter Olympics in Canada. Made famous by the Jamaican team in the movie Cool Runnings. Yes. That's a funny film. Well, actually, it was in the day. Is it still funny? Maybe it won't be. The Aussie program has sent teams to multiple Olympics since then. This is why they don't have a track here. They're expensive. A proper Olympic track is massive, between 1.4 to 1.7K long, between 15 to 20 turnses, and you reach up to speeds of 150. A fun Aussie twist. A lot of Aussie bobsledders are basically sprinters who realize they can turn their 100-meter power into a 150-kilometer ice rocket ride. Okay, let's ask, tell me Australia's best ranking in any Olympics for bobsleigh. Searching the web. Australia's best ever Olympic result in bobsleigh is 5th place. Okay, I got that wrong. I thought it was about 16th. A woman's monobob. Monobob? That's not what I thought that would be. Okay. Her name was Bree Walker. She should have been in the sprint with a name like that. That was the 2022 Winter Olympics, so only a couple of years ago. Okay. It was their first time the women got to go. Walker finished 5th in the inaugural. Inaugural means first, right? Or does that just mean every year? No, that's annual. Inaugural means first. So she finished 5th in the first women's monobob event, which is the highest placement for any Aussie bobsleigh athlete. She was 0.43 seconds away from a bronze medal. Wait. Yeah, 5th doesn't get a medal, right? Yeah. So she was 2 away from getting a medal. Other notable Aussie Olympics. Yo, Jude, how you doing? I know a guy who's on the bobsleigh team, the US Virgin Islands in the 80s. Oh, there you go. It's just interesting when someone just pulls out this info. Like last night we were playing Uno, and this just came up about bobsleigh. And yeah, Ryan's like, yeah, my cousin's in the Aussie team, and I was like, what? there is an Aussie team doing the bobsled. So we got chatting about it, and it was fun. For a country with no bobsleigh track, finishing top 5 is a huge result. Fully, yeah. It just means that they got to live overseas for their entire career. That's all it means. If you want a fun stat for your stream, that's interesting. This is a new chat, but I remembered from my other chat. I told him I was doing a stream on this. The fun stat: Australia has actually never had an Olympic medal in any sliding sport. Sliding is a sport. Bobsleigh, luge, skeleton. That's a funny name, isn't it? But they came very close multiple times in the last few games. That makes Walker's 5th place one of the closest Australia has ever been in bobsleigh. Bobsleigh. I just like saying that word. Okay. Okay, well then tell me this. Tell me why vert skateboarding is not an Olympic discipline within skateboarding. I think it'll tell me about funding, and it'll tell me about having to remove an event and blah, blah, bling, blang, blang. But it's the most spectacular in terms of skateboarding. Slowing down. Vert skating, the halfpipe, huge air. There's a few photos to warrant what it is. Isn't in the Olympics mostly because of participation, global accessibility, and judging structure. Interesting. I didn't think judging would be a factor. There's plenty of good judges. Hello, Renton. When skateboarding was added to the games, the organizers chose formats that were easier for more countries to compete in. There's a lot of vert skaters, though. Here's the real breakdown. Street and park are far more common. Olympic disciplines, street park. Vert requires a competition halfpipe. But Tony Hawk has offered his ramp for free. Tony Hawk offered to give his ramp for the competition for free. So it's big, yes. It's not expensive, and it's not rare because he's got one. Street skating needs rails, stairs, and ledges. Yes. If vert were included, only a small number of countries could realistically find athletes. That's not true at all. Brazil, United States, Australia, Europe, UK. That's pretty much all of them. I was about to say Uganda, but they don't have a vert ramp. The International Olympic Committee pushes sports to prove they are widely practiced around the world. Vert is legendary, but the number of athletes globally is relatively small. Vert had a decline in popularity. Well, that's true. After the mid-2000s, yes, true skins. Park skating overlaps with vert, kind of, yeah. Park riders do big airs, lip tricks, and transitions. They do transitions? Okay. Vert could still appear in the future. Yeah, true. What do you know? What do you know about Tony Hawk offering his vert ramp free of charge, but the Olympic Committee still finding a reason to say no? There's a story that gets repeated in a lot of skate circles that Hawk offered to supply a vert ramp for the Olympics. This is his ramp here. And the Olympic organisers rejected it. The core idea is partly true, but the way it's often told online is, well, I heard it from Hawk himself. What Hawk actually suggested around the time of skateboarding was being added to the 2020 Summer Olympics. He supported the idea. He essentially said if the issue was cost or of building a ramp, I would provide mine. So he said we can solve that problem. Not a formal contract proposal, but they still said no. The decision wasn't really about who pays for the ramp. Mostly structured, global accessibility, youth participations, event diversity. But if they really want feet in seats to watch, the vert will get that because vert is spectacular. Let's get back to the bobsled though. There are 2 videos I've found here. Here is the Aussie bobsled pilot chasing a Winter Olympic dream. This is only from 4 months ago. This would be Ryan's cousin.
Nurse by day and bobsled pilot by night, Cameron Scott is gunning
for
the Winter Olympics.
That's him. If I remember correctly from last night, Cameron Scott. Yeah.
The Aussie underdog with a full-time job has a real shot at making history on ice.
The speed, the rawness of what the surroundings, the sound. There's nothing that really compares to it. And the fact that you are going 150 kilometres an hour and the only protective equipment you've got on is a helmet is pretty damn wild.
This is a rocket on ice, and Cameron Scott is the Aussie in control.
Surely you get scared.
The first couple of times, I'm not going to lie, I'm human. Of course, I was a little bit scared, but then once you actually start to really nail it, it's absolutely exhilarating.
None of that polish or pageantry here. A dry track in the middle of Western Sydney. No snow, no roaring crowds, no high-tech training facilities. This is the humble reality of Cameron Scott's Olympic journey.
So I train 6 days a week, 2 days on the track, 3 or 4 in the gym, and then I get one session up here a week where I get to come up and push and do a little bit more bobsled specific.
It's pretty funny, isn't it? He's pushing it on a flat track around the western suburbs of Sydney. I mean, I shouldn't giggle, but it is kind of funny.
Big training.
The Australian bobsled pilot is preparing for the world's biggest stage in Milan.
Do people take you seriously when you say, I live in Australia, a place that rarely snows, but I'm a bobsledder? What are people's reactions to that?
It's either, oh my God, that's really, really cool, tell me more, or, okay, you're kidding, like we don't have a bobsled team.
The 28-year-old is chasing an Olympic qualification, one push start at a time.
The latest news is they got disqualified.
Yeah, look.
Oh, sorry. They didn't make the cut. They didn't get disqualified. They got eliminated.
These results, we did really well. I would have qualified a spot for Australia at the games if those results counted. Yeah, it's not -25, but it'll do.
Yeah, it's a little bit different over there, isn't it? You've got your heart in your mouth sometimes.
Dad, Paul.
Do you ever feel like just running out there and wrapping him up in bubble wrap and keeping him safe?
No, he's a smart kid, and I'm very proud of him.
Feel the rhythm.
Of course, cool runnings.
Get on up.
I don't know if we should play that. That's definitely going to be dinged. Cool runnings. That's a funny film, though.
I would ask you, would you like to kiss a lucky egg?
Look, I mean, as much as, Cool Runnings is a big thing for bobsled, funnily enough, it is a superstition of mine. It's the first movie that I watch every time I get on the plane to head overseas. Make sure we have our pre-medications charted and administered on time tomorrow if we can.
This is how Cameron's funding it all. 10-hour shifts.
I've been a nurse for the last 6 years and I've loved every single minute of it, particularly being able to be supported through such a journey.
So you don't
Cameron's a nurse unit manager at...
See, there's no funding for sports within Australia. Like, this is our Olympic hopeful, and he's got to work extra shifts to cover for it. That's kind of lame, isn't it?
George's Hospital.
I think to be a nurse, you need to be quite resilient. And much like bobsled, you need to be able to take a heavy hit and be able to dust it off and get right back up to the top and just go again.
A nurse, a bobsled pilot, and an Olympian in the making. At home, he's no fuss Cameron.
We see all the shiny stuff, we see all the glossy stuff, but really, how much work goes into it?
Yeah, look, I mean, it takes 100% commitment, 100% in every aspect of your life.
He says girlfriend Lou has been the quiet force behind every push start.
We take advantage of being together when I am home, but when I'm away, she's incredibly supportive.
Before bobsled, Cameron played elite-level rugby league, representing Cronulla Sharks and Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. A humble nurse from down under with enough push to go all the way to Milan.
I'd just like to hope that I can put my best foot forward and represent the talent that Australia can provide, despite us not even having any kind of facilities or anything around us. We can still amount to incredible things.
Well, legend, and good luck with qualifying.
What sucks is that when they get to like Olympic stadiums, like when they get to the event, they're literally seeing the track for the first time. Like the guys that compete regularly and that are at a higher level, they're always on the tracks. So it's really not fair. Well, it's not a case of not being fair, but it'd be daunting to arrive and to see the track for the first time. Like, you'd argue that they'd have to go a lot earlier to get track ready, right? Like, you can't just turn up to an event and just get the bobsled out and go, oh, that's what we go down? Okay, cool, let's go. No, you want to know that thing back and in and out, right? Nevsky, I just made a big plate of nachos. Man, that sounds radical. I did find this video from 13 years ago. Here's a bobsled crash in Konigsee. I guess it's German. Must be a Winter Olympics of past. Australia crashing. What's the quality here? Up the wazoo. And snowing too. So what happens here? Is it a Maggie noodle? Maggie noodle? Maggie noodles? No. Looks like the 2-minute noodles colour. Oh! Shit. So you just hold on, right? Nothing you can do there. Damn, dude. Face burn. Well, they got a full face helmet on. They would be okay. Yeah, German. I want to rewind it and look at it again, but they look okay, right? No blood, no broken bones. Man, imagine that. They've spent all that time to get there and then... Yeah, one thing goes wrong and it's all over, huh? How long does this go for? Currently 20th. Now they've just dropped right back. Let's see. Here we go. So it looks like it clips the inside line here on this last left there. It's clipped the inside. Yeah. It's just clipped the inside. And gravity. Damn, dude. The corner looks a little gnarly too. The fact that it goes in, it cuts in before it goes around. I guess that's just a tricky corner. Like you gotta navigate it. So they got to be on the one angle and then quickly shove it to the other angle to get through that bend. So shove it down and then shove it back. Yeah, damn. Ouch. That's when they're like, fuck. And they got to push their own cart off. No one helps them? No one helps them? They've got to take their own thing off? Australia. Like I said earlier, they need to have access to that track to familiarize themselves, right? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they get a week or so beforehand. But the guys that compete and win the golds, the top, Australia is very, very lame, but the guys that win the golds are always on those tracks. That sucks. Glad they didn't get hurt. Yeah, I don't think they got hurt. I'm going to go grab myself a coffee, and then we'll get in and have a look at some other content, some Iran updates and whatnot. And we've got to keep ourselves up to speed with petrol prices and all the other cool stuff that's happening. Or not cool, all the other things that are happening globally because of this war. I'll be right back, though.
Welcome to the first day of autumn. March 1, 2026. The fall. Hello, autumn.
Yo, Netsky. How many entries do I have in the giveaway on Beam? What giveaway? I don't know. What about? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the giveaway is. I hope. I mean, I'll look into it. I guess I'll look into it. I'm 22. I hope you are in on that. I'm not sure. I got to look into what. That's too hot. Coffee's too hot. I'll have to look into what the giveaway is. Judeski, they do it because they can. The bobsled teams, yeah. They do it because they love it as well. They're giving away a PC. Okay, well, I'm a Mac guy, but if I get a PC, I'll on-give it. So let's take a look at what you're talking of. What are you talking of? I'll open up the Beam machine. Give me a second here to bring open a new trouser browser of the Beam machine. Look up on top of your account icon. Okay. Give me a second to pull this up as a new tab skins. If we go back over here, skis, here comes the beam stream. I am live. Look on top of your account icon. On top of my account icon. Return to home, my channel page, appearance, account settings, channel settings, contact support, terms of service, privacy policy, log out. Not that. What am I missing here, dude? What am I missing? Homepage giveaway. Homepage. It's got a homepage. Click the logo. There we go. Start stream. That's always confusing when you are streaming. 98 notifications, 10 embers. Enter now. Enter Beam's giveaway for a chance to win a $6,000 PC. Enter now. Enter the giveaway and claim 28 bonus entries. I'm level 8. I haven't entered. Should I enter now? You never entered. No, I have not. I don't need a PC. I've got a Mac. Daily channel challenges. Watch streams on Beam. 15. Chat with streamers. Emotes don't count. Follow channels. None. Stream on Beam. I must be racking those up. I'm level 9. Multi-stream. Worth a go, bro. Yeah, I'll give it a shot, man. And I like the idea of this. So I'm level 8. Let me enter the giveaway. You currently have 29 entries. All right, I'll tell you what. How's this for a deal? Who asked me about this? Netsky. If I win, I'll give it to you. I'll literally give it to you. If I win that, I'll give it to you, dude. I don't want it. I'm not just saying that. I will give it to you. You can pay the shipping, but I'll give it to you. Was your voice is soothing. Thank you, man. How you doing, Was? Your voice is soothing. Hey, before we move on, my shark bands arrived today. The pod, Shark Bands pod. So this is the one that goes on my leg rope or leash. Let's open it, huh? For the first time. It's in a magnetized box. I've cracked all. Oh, I thought I cracked those. Let me crack this one. Look at that comment directly under yours was, do you have any pets? I could answer that, but it's no point. That's the inside of the box. It's got a hole in it. There it is, the FC2. That's the device right there. Shark Bands pod. Get some light on it. See the logo. That's all it is. Dual-sided. Shark Bands. In here will be a, I assume, yeah, under here. Keep them sharks away. Yeah, for sure. Oh, there's 2 little pouches. That's cool. One spare. So this is Velcro. It goes into the pouch. Oh, one's pink and one's black. Okay. I guess it goes in there. Maybe not. Yeah, they're 2 of the same. How long did the last one last? I got it in 2020. So 6 years, arguably. Dude, that's really... In the video, they just pop it in. I'm not being able to pop anything here. So I've either got the option for pink or black. I'm going to go with pink to match my thongs. I wear pink Avianas because they were the cheapest. I got 2 pairs of pink Havianas for $7. It was $2 shipping, so $9 in total. I got 2 pairs of Havianas, and I will tell you this: I'll never get them again. Never get the colored Havianas because they are painted on, and the vinyl or the the material of the thong is not, it's super slick. Can you strap these to the board? No, these go onto your leash. So I'm having difficulty getting that in, but now that it's almost in, I can just pop it all the way in. So now that's in this little package. And then, why does that feel weird? I think I did it backwards. No, it's a little pellet. It's a little bit awkward. It feels like there's something. Oh no, of course, there's this in here. So you can secure it even better. So I'll pop it in. It's pretty difficult to get in. So I'll pop it in, and at the same time, I'll also attach. I'll take it out, and I'll attach the tether to it as well, just for extra protection. The tether goes in, so now it's tethered, and then it's attached to the device, and then I'll just slide the whole thing in here. And then that goes over. That now just wraps over your leg rope and stays there permanently as part of your leash. And I'll obviously have the other one on my wrist, which I'm going to swap from my right wrist to my left wrist. Yeah. And I will keep the case this time. I threw this box out last time, but it is a magnetized or a demagnetized base box base. So I will hang on to it because actually I don't know. It's just a nice box, I guess, but there it is. Let us move on to taking a look at the updates to the war situation. Here are some fuel shortage concerns. This is from earlier today, 8 hours ago. Before we do that, though, I'm going to just check what the fuel prices are near me, because I was fortunate enough to fill up on the week. Oh, better get her off. I was fortunate enough to fill up on the weekend for very cheap. Wait, not the weekend. No, Monday. When did I? Saturday? Friday. On Friday, I filled up for $1.69 a litre. I'm going to tell you, I think it's a lot higher than that now. Let me just Caesars. I'll go into Nowra. Half an hour. Failed to load results. Move the map to reload. Okay. It's not reloading. Let me trash it and start again. I feel like it's going to be about $2.20 at least. 91 cents. 91 is $3 a litre in NZ. $3 a litre? Holy shit, dude. This app is not working. Literally not working. Oh, here we go. So it's actually not as bad as I thought. Now, this is regional Nowra, which is usually like, because I travel to Sydney on the daily for work, and the fuel prices down here are always cheaper than the ones in Sydney. So this is around about $2.03. I'm seeing $2. There's one at $2.17. The cheapest is about $2.01. Let me go to Sydney. Let me just go up to the Big Smoke, mate. I'll just pinch to zoom in like Surrey Hills, Redfern area. $2.17, $2.20, $2.15, $2.19. So around about $2.15, $2.20 up in the city. On the north side, $2.20, $2.21. Balgola, Manly, $2.15, $2.20. So around about $2.20. So not as bad as but don't forget, I got it for $1.69. So let's see what this report is about. Fuel shortage concerns. Where is my mouse? It's just here. It's about to open. Thank you so much.
As the war in the Middle East escalates, Aussies are turning to social media to express their concern over fuel supply.
So just how concerned should we be? Let's bring in supply chain expert David Leaney live from Canberra. David, thanks for your time this morning. So our farmers in particular heavily rely on our fuel reserves, which then impacts food supply. How much does Australia actually have? How badly impacted will they be?
Yeah, morning, Sarah and Carl. Good to speak to you again. The problem with Australia's fuel supply is we generally only have about 4 or 5 weeks of fuel ever. It's just one of those things. You've got the stats there on the numbers. Actually, it's probably the ones from the minister. I'd say our diesel fuel is actually probably lower than that.
Yeah.
I'd probably put around 30 days worth of supply. The vast majority of Australia's fuel comes in, shipped in via Singapore. Made much worse at the moment because...
Couldn't we all just use EVs? That would help, wouldn't it? People have been lining up at the pumps in NZ. Wow. It's going to go up about 20 cents today. Uh-oh.
Getting fuel from the north of Australia down to the regional areas in particular is really bad because of flooding, and the wet is really impacting, and so some communities are getting very short.
It's appalling to me that we don't have more of a supply than that, a country like this that's so reliant upon it. But maybe
Tell people not to panic buy and they'll do exactly that. Yeah, and then these reports don't help, right? We've got 30 days worth of fuel left, folks, but don't panic. Don't panic. See you at work on Monday.
that debate for another day while we get through these prices. I've literally got a million messages on my social media from people. There's a bunch of farmers. First of all, we handle this with the diesel price and the diesel supply. Literally people being told, we've run out of diesel. This is rural suppliers, diesel and ULP this afternoon. We're expecting on Monday, but we don't know when it'll arrive. We'll give you some updates. Lightning Ridge out of diesel on the weekend. Shell has rationing. Ampol has fuel, but their price has skyrocketed. The messages go on and on and on. So that diesel supply will have a heavy impact in regional areas.
It will, and that passes on because just about everything we do in terms of supplies, groceries, it's the vast majority of it is delivered by diesel-powered semi-trailers. And so when you think of the price of fuel going up so high,
this is a key moment to shift more towards EVs, right? Has to be. I mean, isn't that obvious? He just said all of our groceries and goods and services are delivered via diesel-fueled semi-trailers. So let's move towards not having that. There'll be some rationing happening soon, I'd say. Yeah, rationing, and then there'll be cheaper EVs. The BYD will be cheaper. They'll put some incentive there to buy those ones instead. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, good move.
That gets passed on from the price of everything from bread to bananas.
The issue as well, I guess, that's impacting consumers, aside from, the bananas, as you mentioned there, is their day-to-day living, right? I mean, there are so many across the country now who are panic buying because they're not sure what's going on.
I had a banana the other day for the first time. I haven't eaten a banana, just a straight-up nani, in a while. I normally put them in smoothies, but I just went, I'm going raw dog on a nani. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. A strange texture, but the flavour of a good nani, can't beat it, huh?
To happen. So realistically, how much fuel do they have? I mean, should we be panic buying? Should we be stockpiling? Or can we be a bit more patient?
Definitely panic buying is only going to make the problem worse. So people should not panic buy. There will be rationing in some areas, and that's the...
What do you consider panic buying, though? These reports are literally telling you there's going to be a fuel shortage within 30 days. So is it considered panic buying if you take your empty canisters, your empty fuel cans and fill them up? Is that considered panic buying, or is that considered being prepared, being smart? Is it considered panic buying if you go to Bunnings and buy 20 jerry cans and go and fill them up, or is that being prepared? Which is it? At one point, we need a definition of what panic buying actually is, because when I'm about to go on a road trip, like with the Uluru one with Marty and the one I'm about to take later in this year, I will stock up with things, right? Stock up on rice and spaghetti and pastas and perishables and extra things, toilet rolls, what are the Johnson's baby wipes? I'll stock up on them. Is that considered panic buying? I know I'm going to need them in the next few weeks, and where I'm going, they won't have them, or they'll have them, but they'll be jacked up in price. So I'll buy more beforehand. Is that considered panic buying, or is that considered being prepared? Be prepared for panic, right? Almost. Truskis.
Yeah, that's the market adjusting to these conditions. Also, this is going to last.
Old mate in a TISM shirt having a crack. Did you see that guy's got a TISM shirt on?
That's the market adjusting to these
conditions. At first I thought, is that my cousin? But he has hair. My cousin does not.
Also, this is going to last for quite
a while. And my cousin would never be at a fuel station arguing about fuel because he doesn't have a vehicle.
So panic buying this week isn't going to solve the problem, because you're still going to have the problem the next week and the next week and the next week. We're actually got a couple of months ahead of this sort of problem.
Literally in a street anywhere in this country, diesel can go from $1.80 to $2.20, depending on what service station.
Mad Max is ready to save you. Do you know what, Netskis? I still haven't watched any of those films. I said I would when I got back from that trip, that Uluru trip. I said I'd watch Mad Max. I don't feel like I'm an Australian if I don't. I mean, I've been out there, right? I've been to the Mundi and Silverton, and I know all the lore. I just never seen the films. And then I kind of decided not to watch them. Is that wrong? Am I wrong for not watching Mad Max? It's like not eating McDonald's, hey? Like, I'm just not going to ever do it. I'm just never going to watch Mad Max. I'm never going to go beyond the Thunderdome. I'm never going to do it. I know of it. That's all I know, though.
Can you explain that?
That's crazy. I've seen them all. People are like that, Jude. People can't believe that I'm an Australian and I haven't seen them. Yeah. So you didn't watch them? Oh, my God. Yeah, I haven't watched them. I haven't watched them.
Some logical reason for that price discrepancy.
What's the first one, at least?
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. I filled it last night, and I wish I could have got it for $2.20. That would have been good. Canberra tends to have quite expensive fuel prices, despite the fact that it's on quite a high transport route. The main reason for that is actually supply and demand. The retailers will charge the price that they can get, and the different fuel supply.
What you're saying is gouging.
Why aren't they getting held to account for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, I would echo the comments that's been made recently about the ACCC needing to step in while the war in Iran is going on, because those prices are going up very sharply. Just as a rule of thumb, every $10 per barrel in US dollars that the price of oil goes up, the price of fuel in Australia goes up about 10 cents a litre. So when the price of the crude oil went up 30 cents last week, or $30 in the per barrel price, that means a 30-cent per litre increase in Australia straight away.
Heavy.
What's the point of a watchdog if they're not actually going to do anything? I mean, it's just hopeless. All right.
Leave that for us to analyse.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
Well, the war in the Middle East is having a direct impact on Australia's economy, with supply chain issues forcing oil prices here to soar.
For more, we're joined by the Motley Fool's Scott Phillips in Bowral, New South Wales. I don't know how
Scott.
the price of fuel is there, my friend, but people
Just
are
over
hurting
here.
at the pump.
Mate, it's pretty high, isn't it? It's high right across the country. It's been a heck of a week the last 7 or 10 days. Unfortunately, we're probably going to see more to come. We've seen the price of oil go up more than 20% last week. We're now seeing oil depots on fire in Iran. Less supply, the same demand is going to mean higher prices.
Well, and this is the thing. We know that this is likely to go on for weeks, right? Both sides have an appetite for this war to continue. So on a global measure, does this mean we might be heading towards a recession, or is it way too early for talk like that?
Yeah. Well, both, right? Yes, it's possible. The reality is, if it doesn't cease quickly, we are going to be in that position. The world runs on oil, literally and metaphorically greases the wheels of everything that we do, despite electrification continuing to increase. And when the oil price goes up, economic activity falls. It just does. Now, push that forward a little bit, and yeah, you're right. At some point, we get a depressing impact on economic activity. If that continues, we end up with negative growth, and that is a recession.
I mean, wherever food starts here, everywhere along the supply chain.
How far away is that? How far away is negative growth?
Involves diesel, and so it stands to reason that at every part of that, in the short term, I mean, businesses are going to have to increase what they're seeking in terms of payment. That's got to get passed on by supermarkets. I mean, this is an inflationary thing that's going to be pretty wild in the next couple of weeks.
100%, and we're starting at 3.8% right last month. You're absolutely right, Carl. We think about oil, we think about petrol price, we think about the pump. That's where you feel it most directly and most quickly. But yeah, everything. Think about the planes and ships getting stuff into the country, the stuff that's grown here and trucked around the country, distribution centres to supermarkets, the tradies who go to the work sites. Everything is going to be increased in cost because of increased oil and gas prices.
And cost of living is already hard.
Yep.
Thanks, Scott.
Bleak times ahead, folks. Let's move on to another update. The new Supreme Leader has been elected. This was from 17 hours ago. How close are they to bombing him, though? Have they found where he's at?
Breaking news, Iran has elected a new leader after the assassination of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. It comes as the region enters its 9th day of this war, and tonight smoke is rising above Beirut after fresh strikes from Israel. Europe correspondent Mimi Becker is in northern Israel for us. Mimi, what do we know about Iran's new supreme leader?
Well, Kate, we are expected the official announcement to be made soon, but Iranian state media is reporting that someone has been chosen. Now, Mojtaba Khamenei was the front runner, and he is the Ayatollah's second son, and he was the front runner coming into this. The decision was to be made by 88 Iranian leaders and clerics, so we are waiting for the official announcement of Iran's new supreme leader, but it comes after a very busy night.
Wouldn't want to be him, would you? You know, you're stepping into shoes that are, well, let's just say there's a target on your back before you've even done anything.
Strikes across Tehran. We have seen multiple explosions as Israel targeted the oil refineries and depots, not only in Tehran, but also in neighbouring areas as well. Those huge plumes of smoke and glow right across the entire city there. President Trump had warned that this war would keep escalating, and that is exactly what we saw with...
Trump says, give Iran the freedom to pick a new leader. Then he says, no, not that one. Is that what he... So Trump's against this? Trump's against this? I mean, whoever they chose, yeah, I mean, if it's from within, then they're basically replacing one bad egg with another bad egg, right? So they'll target whoever it is. Unless an outside force appoints a leader. That's the way I understood it anyway.
Attacks. Now, we have also seen similar attacks spread once again across the Gulf, and Dubai airport was hit by an Iranian drone yesterday that temporarily suspended operations there. We've also seen an apartment building in Dubai be hit, while one man was killed from shrapnel wounds as well. So this is continuing to spread. Well, in Kuwait, another strike is hit there. Those Iranian strikes come just after Iran's president had apologized to neighbouring countries for strikes, instead blaming it on miscommunication in the ranks. So we are continuing to see this spread and continuing to fire up here in northern Israel as well, Kate.
And meanwhile, Mimi, Russia has made a declaration over the conflict.
Yes, Russia has explicitly sort of said outright that it is aligning with Iran as part of this war. This isn't really a surprise to many, but it's understood they are helping Iran with intelligence, especially...
Netsky's, he'll be dead within a week. Do you reckon they're targeting him? Possibly.
Around the US Army and their approach as part of this. Now, we have also seen overnight Lebanon continue to be struck by the IDF and US, and that's particularly centred around Beirut and what they say are the targets of Hezbollah. We have seen a hotel building damaged there where 4 people died, while there's also been gunfire on the ground between troops. It's understood more than 40 people may have been killed in that attack as well, okay?
The dude was 85, probably wasn't going to live much longer. They already had a successor. Is that the guy who took the slot? And if anything, they made him into a martyr. Let's take a look at this other update. Dubai, further attacks in Dubai airport from 8 hours ago. This is interesting because, well, just selfishly because I've been there, but it's just familiar, I suppose.
Turning
Turning to our special coverage now, and there were emotional scenes in Melbourne last night after the first flight from Dubai touched down safely. It comes after a barrage of missiles rained down on the tourist hotspot. This dramatic video shows the iconic 23 Marina Tower pouring smoke after it was struck by debris from an intercepted airstrike.
Whoa.
That just hours after an Iranian drone attack at Dubai airport. The impact just metres from planes.
Yeah, that there, I mean, you can see the that monorail in front is between the two terminals, but those planes that are lined up are actively parked at a terminal. I reckon that missile was aimed for those planes. I reckon that missile didn't quite make its target. Netsky, look how easy it was to take out the other guy. Apparently Israel hacked the traffic cams to know where he was. Is that right? By the way, how come this person was filming right at this point?
Just metres from planes.
Coincidental?
Oh my God.
For more, let's bring in retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton. Good morning. It is the second time Dubai Airport has been hit in a week. Is it safe to be there?
No, of course not.
Well, good morning, Natalie. Always good to be with you. We are watching before our very eyes the extension of Iranian threats as well as their strikes, not only against U.S. forces in Israel, but now stretching into the Gulf Arab nations, as you mentioned, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, others. And so they've been drawn into the conflict. And frankly, these Gulf nations are rather angry over that and anticipating they've bolstered their defenses and so forth. But the regional conflict is expanding, as you see right here at this airport in Dubai and so forth. I would anticipate that, and I would have our viewers use caution if they're traveling to the Mideast. I would second guess that, or think about that. But nonetheless, the war is expanding into a number of.
Yeah, I'd be shitting myself. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near there. Was absolutely not. Yeah, they're targeting all these different places. You know, I mean, the airport arguably it's a pretty low blow, right? Because it's not specifically related. Like it's not like they were targeting American bases in different countries. Fair enough, but the airport is global. You know, like it's not just. You know, there's flights from Iran that are coming and landing at that airport, I'm sure, and there's flights going to Iran from that airport. So, like, why would they? Like, the airport seems like a cheeky target. I feel, and by the way, unless they were targeting specific flights that had particular people on board those flights or about to board, that might have been the angle. But just regular civilians in the airport, that doesn't seem. Yeah, airports and hotels is a low blow. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, definitely. That's low from either side of like whoever's doing it, whether it's the Americans doing it to Iran or whether it's Iran doing it to any part of the world. That's a low blow for sure.
Nations, my tally says 12, but also Iran threatened Turkey with a missile attack as well as Azerbaijan. So we are really just starting our second week into this conflict, Nat. I expect not just in a matter of days, but several weeks of more engagement, more conflict.
So the Gulf nations, as we can see, are intercepting most of those. Are they going to retaliate, though?
Great question. They have been extraordinarily effective in their defensive capabilities, along with the United States as well as Israel. It would not surprise me that there would be one or two of those nations. I have nothing really to report on other than just my prediction for those one or two of those nations to join in on offensive actions against Iran, because Iran, they've not necessarily been on friendly terms with Iran. They've publicly been somewhat just rather aligned with Iran and just in terms of public pronouncements, but they're not allies or any stretch. And so what's happening now is the fact that what I think is a strategic blunder on the part of the Iranian regime to go after these Gulf states. Yes, I would anticipate one or two to join the offensive actions with the United States and Israel at some point.
Okay, Richard Newton, thank you very much for your time. Here's Sherbo.
Frightening stuff. We're going to change tact here slightly, well, greatly, and we're going to go and now catch up with Toothboy, Ghost Town Living. We were watching What was the video we were watching? He bought a ghost town 5 years later. This is the channel Ghost Town Living. And we were watching here, this one here. And it's a fairly lengthy video. In fact, it's a 3.5-hour video and we're an hour 19 in. Let's just enjoy our little selves here for a little while with the lovely Brent Underwood, or as we call him, Toothboy.
Oh, wow. Brent, get over there.
Take your mind off the war.
Dang. That's, wow. Okay, can you copy?
Wow.
Stop.
They love that.
That's, wow. Okay, can you copy?
That's, wow.
Dang. That's, wow. Okay, can you copy? They probably stop. 2 more feet? Maybe stop. Copy that. Go ahead, stop. Stop. Woo! Hey, we're gonna have to climb out, boys.
This is sick.
All right, let's come down. We have arrived.
That's good. And for me, I turned just slightly, and immediately I recognized what I was looking at.
Oh man, remember a photo from right here.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do down there? Up to you guys.
Because I realized the photo in the general store here of one of the old owners in the late 1800s or 1900s is taken at this exact point on the 900-foot level where this black and white sign is that shows different things about the different levels. And that sign immediately clicked with me as a sign that's still there. And it was incredible.
Wow.
Whoa, look at that. Mine telephone signals. One long ring. Down on the bottom right, it says Cerro Gordo.
Oh, shit, it does. Yeah, you're right. It says one long ring, hoist.
I enjoy Toothboy. Yeah, me too, Netskis. Me too.
Newtown?
Newtown?
Yeah, it's a long ways away.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe that's the next exploration. Look at that. Newtown.
So, yes, like unless they printed the orders for United States orders for underground, probably mining.
Yeah.
Oh, state of California. It should be dated down the bottom corner usually. On the bottom right, but it's order 1708. You ought to be able to look that order up.
Yeah.
1708.
Wow, this thing is crazy too. Cage capacity, 4 men only.
Thank God. I want to stay down. 117. Hang on, the Gourd can. Let's go at least 45 minutes. Huh?
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
900 cage capacity, 4 men. There's no smoking within.
900 feet under the ground.
Doesn't love.
Trash can down here. Holy shit. There's a lot of dynamite down there. Tons.
Wow. Don't want that to explode.
Oh, look down there, see all those?
I have that.
You see all that?
Oh, shit, yeah.
That's a lot of dynamite.
Yeah, let's.
And sure enough, at the bottom of this hole was just so many sticks of red dynamite, you know, thicker than I've ever seen any dynamite before, all just kind of tossed down there. I had to use all of my common sense to not go down there and try to get one of these things because they looked amazing.
Now the time has come. Time for this. Go somewhere. I'm gonna go find a resting place for this fine thing. Where, oh, where should this go? Goodbye, sweet plaque. Thank you all so much for all the support over the time. You know, I obviously couldn't do this without all of you, every single one of you. So thank you. And since mines are such a big part of this channel's exploration, it only feels appropriate to leave this 1 million subscriber plaque down here at the 900 level of Cerro Gordo.
It's an interesting way to put it, just hanging it from the ceiling.
So inside this ore cart, I feel is the appropriate place to leave this letter from YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, but it's now staying
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, Netsky? Just hanging there. It's going to knock someone on the
How do you
head.
think we're going to be going back up?
Not well.
All right, headed back up.
Up, up, and away.
Might be a treasure hunt. Yeah, later on.
It's a long ways up.
Yes, it is.
Heading back by the 700. Sounds like the water's still on.
We survived.
We're
On the
back.
final descent. Well, I guess it's a little too early to say that.
Heat, warmth. Hello.
Food.
Pretty cold down there.
Walking the air conditioning. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you have an enjoyable adventure?
That was fun. And we all got to go.
Thank you for not killing us.
You bet. You bet. Must have service. Oh, yeah. Jesus. Damn.
Hey, popular dude.
The more time I spend at Cerro Gordo, the deeper I dive into the history, the characters, and the processes up here, and the more it just makes my experience here that much richer. It just feels like I'm coloring in black and white puzzle pieces that make up the entire existence here. And if you're gonna understand the history of a mining town, it's pretty important that you understand mining. And so finally, I dipped my toe into the process of refining the ore that built Cerro Gordo, and that opened up all sorts of doors. And the primary mineral that they were mining at Cerro Gordo was galena. And galena
Silver.
contains a lot of lead and a very little bit of silver. And over the past 3 years owning Cerro Gordo, I found deposits of galena left in the 30 miles of mines underneath the town. And I always wondered, what does it take to go from this down to a pure silver? Because that process, this pursuit of silver is the reason I'm here. It's the reason that this patch of earth has the history that it does. The pursuit of silver brought thousands of men and women to come up and live here. It required hundreds of buildings to be built, and it developed that history that I've dedicated my life to try to understand and to teach to people that come up and on this channel. So it would seem that a big part of understanding the history of Cerro Gordo is understanding how they mine the minerals and how they refine them here at Cerro Gordo. So this week, after 3 years, I'm gonna take this book from 1886 that I found here in the assay office called Notes on Assaying and try to create silver for myself. And so the first step in all of this is I had to collect galena. Today, the mission is to find some galena to then refine. I always thought it'd be cool to take, the raw silver lead ore here and make it down into pure silver, maybe make it into some jewelry. So the quest for the next few days is just to collect all the galena I can find around the property. This is the stope, and hopefully that is the galena. That's galena. See the sparkle? That's galena. Oh, got a big boy piece. Yeah. There's a bunch up here. Is this a, no. Blends in so well though. See the shiny metallic? See how shiny that is? Glitter City. All right, that's going in the backpack. This little pocket seems to have a lot. See, there's another. See that? It's another 5-10 pound piece. Getting a good amount. This pocket. Oh, there's another piece. I think we only need like 20 pounds to get the amount that I want to make. Well, that was relatively quick, Came, wanted 20 pounds of galena. Probably got at least that. Gonna get out of here because this is overstoped and all these big boulders have fallen down over time. So no reason to spend more time in here than we need to. So gonna get out of here, go back home, weigh this galena that we got, see how many pounds it is, try to make this into some silver. £25. That'll do.
Sweet.
So, Step one.
This video is essentially a compilation, right? Because we've seen this. He could have snapped this down a little bit. I feel like this is just like a best of the last year or so, 5 years.
Step two, came back here, had all the chemicals arrive in the mail that I needed. And from there, I was just exploring. So, notes on assaying. So somebody had this and was learning in 1901. And I think that I'm here sitting, trying to learn the same thing 120 years ago from the same book. Is a super cool way to start this. All right, so if we dive into this book, there are 5 simple steps in making this galena down into silver. Simple, obviously, is not true. So, step number 1, sampling and pulverizing. All right, we're here in the assay office. Pulverize using the grinding plate and rubber, which we have down here. All right, we're gonna pulverize. It's very shiny, as you can see. I'm very excited. I think we're gonna knock it out first try. Step 1, we're gonna nail this, have perfect silver. Doing it the old school way, doing it kind of like they used to. The really exciting thing for me about going through this process is just having a deeper understanding into the assay process and just the life of an assayer. The job of the assayer was try to determine how much the value of the mineral content in a certain claim. And he would do the math. He would say, hey, I put in 30 grams of ore, I got out 1 gram of silver. I can extrapolate that to tell you that the value of the tonnage of your claim is X. And so really, like, miners' dreams came into an office like this to either be made or be crushed. And the majority of the time, an assayer's job was crushing miners' dreams. But because of that excitement, you have to imagine the assayer back in the mining towns knew more about that hill than anybody else, even more than the big owners. You know, there are stories where investors, engineers, everybody used to huddle around assay offices like this, just weighing the news of the next big strike, you know? So there's always potential excitements inside of walls like these, you know, guys just coming here and knowing that maybe that was gonna be the day where they finally struck it rich, or that was the day where they were gonna have to go out, find another claim, and do it all over again. As you can see, it's getting much, it's kind of like powder.
So putting it through here.
That is what we're looking for.
Nice fine grade galena. Yum. Throw a tablespoon of that a day. Well, you'd probably die, but you know, we're not gonna die.
So first, I'm gonna put in the toasted galena, borax. Now I'm gonna add in the litharge or lead oxide. Finally, baking soda. It's crazy to think about back in the day how they figured this out. You know, how did they figure it out to put this? How did they get all of these chemicals to fill this much crucible? And at the end of this, you have to imagine we're doing all of this, and in the end, we hope to have a tiny little button of silver that's barely gonna fill the bottom of this thing. Step 3, you got your stuff in the crucible, you throw it in, and with that, we will see you when you're closer to being silver. That is how hot it is. I'll wait for this to cool down a little bit, for that slag to form on top. So you pull out your slag, you break it, and at the bottom, you get the next step, which is the lead button. All right, this is the moment of truth. Now, if everything went right, you're left with lead and silver. And so after that, you come to the second to last step in this process, cupellation. And cupellation is where you take a cupel. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put the silver and lead in here, this lead button, heat this thing up. This thing is made out of animal bones. And so what's gonna allow the lead to do is to oxidize when the silver won't oxidize, and the lead will get absorbed into this bone ash, and you'll be left with a tiny little bead of silver. And in the end, you get that.
the tiniest bead of silver from that amount of galena.
A great place to start if I was looking to add artifacts to the museum here.
Netsky, looking at the process makes you wonder why silver isn't the same price as gold. There's a lot going on, isn't there? A lot to do, a lot of steps to go through to get to nothing or to get to a very small amount of something. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's obviously just doing this for shits and giggles, just to explore the hobby of it. But it is perplexing. Just, I don't know, like, yeah, they obviously do this on a larger scale to get to the full silver. Yeah, gold, you don't need a process like that. Yeah, you just pull it out of the ground and it's good to go, right? And you want the bigger nugget, the biggest nugget you can get.
Metal detecting. People drop things all the time. They hide them. They don't give them back. They hide them, then they're murdered. All sorts of things. But over the past 2 years here, I just could never get into metal detecting. It's just something that I'm not good at. But I knew I was missing opportunities for amazing artifacts that could be all around me. So finally, a few weeks ago, I had this idea that, hey, a lot of you are much better at metal detecting than I am, are probably a little bit more patient, and so why not invite a lot of people out and see what we can find? I guess first off, thanks to everybody for being here. This is a little overwhelming. This is by far the most people I've seen here at one time, but that's really cool. I'm very excited. I think we're gonna find a lot of cool stuff today. Back in the day when Cerro Gordo was at its peak, in the 1870s, Tiberico Vasquez, which the Vasquez
We're only at 2001
outside of LA, was a big bandit back in the day.
Yeah, but this is a 5-year recap video. 2021, so this is a 5-year recap video.
And he used to rob Cerro Gordo, and so one of these times that he was coming up, all the men left to go meet him and his guys to hold them off, and all the women in the town put all of their valuable stuff into cans and hid them. And
we still haven't got through this video. You said that last time when we watched this. We've been taking it in little bit drips and drabs. It's a 3.5 hour video, so we're just working our way very slowly through it.
Apparently, they forgot where a lot of those cans were, and so maybe today we can find some of those cans and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, get to find some cool stuff.
Yeah. And with that, we set out to find some artifacts from the past. One of my favorite things that was evident at this event was just all the help that Cerro Gordo has around it these days. Coordinating and arranging 50 people from all over the country to come and stay was just not possible 20 months ago. If I was trying to do all that, it definitely would have failed. But these days, there's this team that's developed around the town. There's Scotty, who handles all the volunteer coordination, which makes my life just so much easier. And there's a half dozen or so local volunteers that are just always ready to help out. And in total, it took something like 10 volunteers to make sure everybody arrived safely and got to their designated camping spots. And just knowing that support system exists around the town makes me confident that the progress here will continue, which makes me super happy. Day one began. It kind of just looked like ants, spreading out everywhere across the property. We had people here from aged 8 all the way into their 70s, but the kind of shared passion for history connected everybody. And that was evident, talking to the different people.
I'm Andrew and Tam Faulkner. We're from Modesto. Sometimes people don't like you to come out and metal detect on their property. So this seems like a great opportunity.
So this is where Belshaw's furnace was. So he did all the smelting. Oh. There used to be a massive building here. And from my understanding, they used to do like 50 tons of galena refining here a day. The technology wasn't there fully to get all the minerals out of back in the day. So there's still a decent amount of lead and silver in there. They just couldn't get out. So
interesting. You're the only person that plays his vids. I thought about it, but then I felt it was yours first, so I didn't go there. Oh, I mean, well, I appreciate that, but you I mean, yeah, you can react to it as well. Like, I'm sure there are other people online that do this. We've been doing it for years, but yeah, I appreciate. I like that sentiment, but you don't have to do that, dude.
For day one was just to go around and get to know everybody a little bit. You know, all these people spent time out of their week to come here and help find new artifacts for this museum. And so Chris and I
It's compelling content. Yeah, it is, man. Yeah.
You know, try to get to know them a little bit, why they came out here, and it's super cool.
I'm Mark Greck from Porter Ranch, California, and I think I've watched all of Brent's YouTube channel episodes, so I'm pretty well versed with the area. And when I saw the first mention of a metal detecting group coming out here, I quickly went out and I bought a metal detector, and it's my new hobby.
I was going to ask them permission through you to come up on a weekday someday and do this, you know? But, oh, this is perfect. This is 50 people. Yeah. This big of an area. I'm from Lyons, Colorado. I'm here with my son, Hunter. He's down there detecting. We do mine exploring, and we're just adventurers. And we flew out last night to Los Angeles, stayed overnight, got up early, and we're here, and we can't believe it. It's so great being here. I love it.
My great-grandparents ran a resort in the San Gabriel Mountains from 1919 until 1944, so I've been doing the same sort of exploration up there.
My name is Bryce. I'm 8. I'm really excited because I found a campsite and I can't wait to dig up some new things.
And I'm Evan. I'm 9 years old, and I'm excited to find some coins if we do.
You know, not even an hour into it, we found our first coin. And it was a nickel from 1850, about 15 years predating the town. And I like to imagine, you know, how did that nickel end up there? You know, was the guy living in the mine and dropped it? Was it from somewhere above there that fell down? And how was it not found in the last 170 years?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think that says 1850.
Yeah, it says 1850.
Generally with ghost towns, not as many people, you know, are detecting on hillsides. And then, you know, something falls out of your pocket and rolls down the hill.
Totally.
You're not ever going to find it.
You know, maybe 30 minutes later, we're on to coin number 2. Down by the American Hotel, a guy uncovered an Indian head penny from 1892.
It's got a little corrosion on it, but it's in really good shape. You can't read the Liberty. I wouldn't want to brush it. Never want to brush a coin.
Coin? Boom! That's what I'm talking about. How did that penny get there? Was it slip through the cracks of the hotel? Did Butch Cassidy or one of the other infamous bandits that hid out here at some point in time touch it? Or was it the worker from the hotel, you know, who dropped it and spent 30 minutes trying to find it for it to never be found for another 130 years? I don't know, but I do know that I was here. And so as day one was coming to lunchtime, things were looking good. You know, we were finding a lot of stuff.
1870 seated dime.
I had never found any coins before. And at lunch, I did the same thing. You know, I kind of just stood back and observed and watched this beautiful community of people just bond over common interest. You know, an interest in not just the town, but the history of the American West, of metal detecting, of just...
Frank, my favorite stream, Good Nights from America. Hey, Frank, how you doing, dude? Good to see you, buddy.
a love of preserving history.
Give a box. But look at this. This is chimney. It's collapsed. Yeah. And it's kind of loose. It's loose, so all the rocks, see? So they just fell. So they was burning something here. And if I would be a woman who want to hide something, that's where I would be hiding.
Yeah.
It's always good to see you. Thank you, man.
I was not just getting to know the people, but I was getting to know a little bit more about metal detecting too. You know, I would watch the different methods and techniques that everybody took to the metal detecting. You know, some would pour the sand in their hand and metal detect it each time before they did it this way. Some were using a screen. Some were blocking.
I'm just about to go to bed. I want to say goodnight.
Precious metal.
Oh, hi. Yeah, no worries, Frank. I appreciate you swinging by to say night. Have a good sleep. Get some good Z's.
Metals to hopefully find something bigger.
So we just take a little bit out of the hand, you know. It's like a little piece of, it's like an axe head or something. Maybe it's kind of triangular.
It's either a voting box or a piggy bank.
Whoa. So the plan of day one was to wrap right around 4. You know, I thought it'd be a really cool idea for everybody to come back, gather. You know, we do this show and tell where everybody showed what they found for the day. Everybody started adding their items to this table. And it was awesome, you know, it was to see this previously empty table just get filled with Cerro Gordo artifacts just put a huge smile on my face. You know, it was just something that everybody felt like they played a little part in, which they did.
If you want to kind of circle around, I'll kind of go over some stuff. There's a 1850 dime. Who found this? Who found this? At least as far as coins, this was the oldest coin of the day. 170 years old. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a pretty sweet one. There's a close behind it 1858 dime as well, that I believe was found in Newtown. Who found the 1858? All right, that was Newtown, right? Yeah. A silver ring, super interesting. It has like a Greek or Roman character on it of some type, and some type of initials. Considering I just spent about 4 weeks of my life making a silver ring about this size, I'm very appreciative of any type of ring that's like that. Super cool coffee pots with filters on them, horseshoes. The lock was awesome. Yeah, very cool.
So like collectively, you know, find all these things was super cool. This hole behind me is just that. It's basically a hole inside of a mountain with a couple doors in front of it and some pieces of wood on the floor. And my hope, my dream really, is to make this into a beautiful library, you know, with an amazing floor down, maybe some rugs, comfortable chairs, bookshelves, chandelier. I don't know how far we'll go, but it's just, the history in this town is so important to me. It's what keeps me here. It's what drives me every day to explore the abandoned mines or talk to people that have relatives that once lived here or read a bunch of books. And so I think first step is a little tour.
So all the people that just leave their findings up there, I guess they do. It's not clear. Like, it's not clear if they can keep those coins or if they just donate them to his museum, yeah, he conveniently doesn't say that part, right? Judski, we had a time change last night. I hate it. So is it an hour earlier for you now? So it's earlier than what it would be normally, or is it an hour later?
First thing to note about this is that there's actually 2 doors you have to go through to get in. There's the steel door, and behind it, a secondary door that you also have to unlock. And if you look at this wood and how well preserved it is, it makes me think that this environment in here is going to be perfect.
It jumped up an hour.
These old books.
So it's now an hour further ahead. But yeah. I wish they would. I don't know. I've been on this. I just wish they'd leave it at 1. Right? Like there's no point changing it forward and then backward. Just choose 1 and leave it there. You know, like people, let me get on a rant for a bit here, folks. I'm going to get on a little side rant here. Okay, so the idea of, they call it daylight savings, right? The idea is that you have a longer amount of sunlight or a longer amount of hours in the day to achieve outdoor things. Of course, you all know, and we all know, that you're not physically making longer hours of sunlight. That's not what's happening. We know that, right? We're not dumb, right? You can't physically change the amount of sunlight hitting the earth. All you're doing is moving the clock, which we live our life by, in advance, or in the case of daylight savings ending, back an hour, forward an hour, back an hour. So what you're doing is essentially saying, well, I would normally be, and it stems from the farmers, right? The farmers is where this began. Well, I'd normally have to go and reap the harvest at 3 o'clock because I need 2 hours to do it, and the sun goes down at 5 o'clock. But then in the winter time, the sun goes down at 4 o'clock. So instead of reaping the harvest at 2 o'clock, instead of doing that, we'll just put the clocks back. It doesn't make any sense. Just do the thing that you need to do at a different time. Why do we all have to change our lives because the farmers need more time to do their thing? Can't they set an alarm? Can't they do their thing earlier, like what we'd normally do? Like if the winter has less hours of sunlight in the day, then schedule your day around those less hours. Do the indoor things, do the outdoor things. You're not making more hours of sunlight. You're just changing what you do when you do it. It's the dumbest thing that mankind has ever done, I think. In my take, the dumbest idea ever is daylight savings. It doesn't make any sense. Now, with that in mind, if you had to say where should you leave it, should you leave it in the hour ahead or the hour behind? I don't think it really matters ultimately, but if I had to choose, because you have to choose one, I'd probably go the hour ahead and just leave it that way. Or if you really wanted to, you could just set the middle, right? And say, okay, it's neither an hour ahead or an hour behind. It's just going to be the middle, the smack bang in the middle. It won't make any difference because, and like, we have these, right? We have phones, we have alarm clocks. If you got to get up to do the harvest, set an alarm. We're taught that in like primary school. You got to get up to get the bus, set your alarm. Like what? Why are we changing the clock to suit the human? Just set a freaking alarm. Doesn't make any sense. It's dumb. It's not even the farmers anymore. But when you go forward an hour, we don't. It's 2 hours until ours move. And Netsky, that's the problem, right? So we've got ourselves into this weird time zone war, if you like, where like New Zealand, it's arguably 3 hours on a plane to the east of me. So naturally, sunrise is in the east. Naturally, you get like it's morning time for you a good 2.5, 3 hours earlier than it is for me, just by nature of, heaven forbid, the curvature of the earth. Sorry, flat earthers, the science tells different. The sun rises, you get it first, and then it rises across the east and it comes to Australia, then it goes across the mainland, gets to Perth, blah, 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 goes across South Africa. So it's a progression. But what we've done with this daylight saving thing is we've chopped it all up, and now you're saying, well, if you change yours, then ours is going to be this and ours. Our time zone shouldn't make, not our time zone, our time of day shouldn't make any difference to your time of day. So what if your time is 2 hours different to mine? That's physics, right? That's naturally what's going to happen if we're basing ourselves off of sunrises and sunsets. That's what we seem to be basing our calendar and our time frame off. Sunrise, sunset, daylight, right? Day, nighttime, nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime. It's a circle, right? Nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime. So we're basing it off that. So this idea of pushing it further around in certain areas and then pulling it back because of it's winter and it's summer, it just makes no sense. All it does is confuse people, and it's dumb. It's the dumbest thing ever. In fact, I'm not arguing for this, but you could, like, to eradicate everything, you could have one clock on the planet. And they'd probably argue that it would be Greenwich Mean Time, right? Like where time starts, right? The Greenwich Mean Time, that could be 12 o'clock. And then everywhere else, you setting from 12. So it's 12, like, okay, so for me right now, it will be whatever the time it is in London or Greenwich Mean Time, that's what my time would be. Now you would say, that wouldn't make any sense, dude. For you, hey Siri, what time is it in London?
It's 5:43 in London, England.
So it's 5:43 a.m. in London, England. Now here's the crack with that. If we had a global clock which was all the same everywhere, for me it would be 5:33 a.m. 5:43? I think it's. Hey Siri, what time is it in London?
In London, England, it's 5:43.
Yeah. So it's the same minute, but it's so my time right now is 4:43 p.m. But London time is 5:43 a.m. Now, that could also be my time, and you could say, well, it's 5:43 a.m. for you, dude, but it's actually the sun's going down. It's in the afternoon, like it's ready for your night. So what we've done is we've confused ourselves, or not confused, we've told ourselves that where the sun is should be what the timing is. But in actual fact, the number is irrelevant, really, because if you didn't need time, like I've got to go somewhere, I'll be there in 30 minutes. Doesn't matter if I'll be there at, in this case, 10 past 5 p.m. or in London's time, 10 past 5 a.m. It's still only 30 minutes away. So as long as I can get to the thing and do the thing on the minute or on the time, what the actual time is doesn't make any difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a number. Like that, the number here, 1644, that's just a number to me. It doesn't mean anything. Like that could be, they could be letters for all I care. It doesn't mean anything, right? Like the sun and where I've got to be and what I've got to do means something. So the number is not relevant, but what it means is relevant. End rant, but you get me on one and I'll go for it. Yo, Mr. Trance, how you doing? That's my take on it. I could be wrong, and I have been wrong in the past. I'm not going to deny that. There are countless times where I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this one, but let's just say, entertain the thought of having a global clock and just see if when you look at your phone or when you look at your watch or when you look at a clock on the wall and you see a time, is the thing that it tells you more about what you have to do and where you've got to be and when you've got to be there? Or is it more about what the clock is saying is happening in the day? Like if you look at the clock and it says 4 p.m., do you look up and go, oh yeah, that's because the sun's sort of over there? Or is that irrelevant? Are you just looking at it going, okay, so it's 4 p.m. So in 2.5 hours, I've got to have dinner on the table. So that's the thing, right? So the number is telling you what you need to do in your day. We're a little bit more reliant on that than we should be. You probably could get away with not having the number, but still having the structure. Now, that's coming from a Virgo who is extremely structured, right? I'm extremely structured, regimented. Like Mondays is clean the house day, do the washing, do the folding, do the ironing, vacuuming, clean the vacuum cleaner. And I'm regimented. I don't need a clock to tell me that. I have my own clock in my head telling me Mondays is this, Sunday nights is hair wash night. Sunday nights used to be some. I have the structure and I follow it, and I don't need a clock that has a number on it to tell me what to do. I just know when I need to do things. Jude, it's 12:44 a.m. for me. We still need the time zones. I don't think we do. I'm willing to live on a planet without time zones because, like I said, all they're doing is telling you. It's telling you what's happening in relation to somewhere else. But in actual fact, the relation that you have to somewhere else, it means nothing, right? It means nothing. It means so much nothing that because we have these, we have Do Not Disturbs, we have Find My, we have, tracking. And like if you say, well, I need to know what the time zone is in Florida because I'm going to give Jude a call. And if I call her at 2 a.m., she's going to be pissed. Well, in actual fact, Jude and anybody in Florida that's getting a phone call from me should have their phone to Do Not Disturb at the times that they don't want to be disturbed. We don't need a clock to tell us don't disturb them. We need them. Like we're all so connected now. Like we're all intertwined with all these devices. So why do we need a time zone to tell? Like it's all here, right? I can't call. I tried calling you an hour ago, but you were on Do Not Disturb. You must have been asleep, so I'll wait. And when your Do Not Disturb is off, I'll call you. It like the idea of a clock. It's like it's dumb, right? It's dumb. It's hang on. It's not dumb, but it's funnily enough, it's dated. It's over, right? That notion of the time is dated. We don't need it. We definitely don't rely on it. We rely on our internal clock and our self. We don't need the number to tell us what's going on. That's my take. Yeah, it's the middle of the night for me, but it's not for you. Yeah, but Jude, you can look outside and see that it's nighttime. You don't need a clock to tell you it's nighttime. There's no sun for you. Like last time I looked outside and it was no sun, it was nighttime. I didn't have to come back in and go confirm by looking at the clock. I see a moon out there. What is it, day or nighttime? I better check. Oh yeah, it's nighttime. You don't need that. You can just look and see, right? My phone is on Do Not Disturb right now. Only my parents can get through. Yeah, right. And I mean, I have the same, right? It's arbitrary. It is arbitrary, but it's also we're too reliant on it. Like we've existed with this for too long, and it may be time for a change. Oddly enough, it may be time for a change. Yeah, you see what I'm doing? I didn't mean to do that, but it could well be time. I'll just have to confirm what time it is, but it could be time for a change here. We need timestamps for many things, but okay, Jude, I've got one for you for that. A timestamp is not relevant to the 24-hour clock. The timestamp is relevant to when something occurred. So in the instance of, and I'm going to just relate to what we're doing, like a live stream. I've been live for 1 hour and 49 minutes. So I've got a count that's incrementally going up as I stream. The numbers keep going up. That number that started at 0 is irrelevant to the clock. Like that's not relevant to an AM, a PM, a 24, or a time zone. That number is only relevant from 0 as a base starting point and then incrementing upwards to a point where if you say, I need a timestamp to see when this dickhead started ranting and raving like this, well, I can tell you that timestamp was 1 hour and 42 minutes in or something. That's not relevant to the time of day. It's only relevant to the start of the stream. So what I'm saying is the idea of a clock being linked to what the sun is doing, and therefore we gauge everything from that clock based upon the sun, it's pointless. The sun's always there. You can always find it, right? And even in a cloudy day, you can know whereabouts it is. Everyone could easily just say no and just live. This is it, right? Like the other thing too, and I'll just throw this out there. We've done it so long one way. Shouldn't we just try it the other way? It might not work. It might fall to pieces. And then we can say, hey, we gave that a shot. Now let's go back to the other way. We thought we'd try it and it didn't work. But we've only ever done that. Like how do we know that it's not better without it if we don't try it? You know? So all of you that think I'm wrong, you're wrong. Too harsh? China spans 5 different time zones. They don't give a shit. They just say, nah, one time zone will do. I mean, right on. Okay, so I wasn't aware of that, but China is a massive landmass. You've been there, I've been there. You lived there longer. I went there, visited you. So are you saying that they've got 5 separate, like in terms of outside of China, so the longitude and latitude actually covers 5 different time zones, and they're just like, nah, dude, it's all one in China. Underneath China and parts of Lower Asia and down here, and they can have their time zones, but we got one. Yeah. Actually, Wanaka, I think it said no, we're sticking with extra hour all year round. Did Wanaka do that today? Good on them. God bless Wanaka. You know, when I first moved to Queenstown, New Zealand, I thought that was Wanaka. I used to call it Wanaka. Let's go and get Spackadaka in Wanaka. Gives knows where. I was only introduced because of the farmers making time. Okay. I was, yeah. Interesting. Banks would freak out, but programs would be busy as hell. Banks would freak out. Why would banks freak out, though? Why would banks freak out? I mean, the stock market would be a bit harder to navigate because of but no, it wouldn't be, because if you need to find out when the stock market opens, I'm sure, in fact, I don't have one, but I'm 99.99999% there's an app out there that has an alert on it that says the stock market's open for trading and you can trade. You don't need to get the app and then go, but I better just confirm what time it is. Oh, my watch says it is it's 2 minutes to 8 a.m. in Greenwich Mean Time. Therefore, we've got 2 minutes till trading start. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all there in the apps. Like, it's all there. Like, do you know what else? While we're on this rant, because I need a good one, can I swear? I'm not an angry man, but I want to swear here just to make a point. But I don't need to swear. I'll choose a different word. I absolutely loathe the clicking of a second hand on an analog old school clock. Usually it's in a waiting room. Sometimes it's in airports, but mainly in a waiting room, like a doctor's surgery or like an old person's house or something. Click. Hang on. Click. 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 Honestly, what is going on there? What is the point of the click, click, click? So now, are you reminding me of every second of my life that's being sucked away from me? Every click of that damn clock is a reminder that less time on Earth for you, buddy. You're getting older. Every freaking click. Every time that thing clicks, you're getting one click closer to the grave. Do we really need a massive circular dial on the wall in a house pointing that out to me? No, I'm already fallible. I'm already looking into the depths of death. You know, I've already got my grave dug out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need a clock to remind us. Where did I see it? Oh, it's usually, it's when you're staying at someone else's house. Where did this, when you're staying at someone else's house that you don't know and they have a clock, and this person, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to see her again, but she had a clock and I asked her to put it under the bed. I was like, can we either put that in a different room or under the bed? I can't sleep with this click, 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 click. I don't want to be reminded of the time, right? So get that out of there. The person that made, who was it? Was it Rolex? Who made the watch with the second hand that doesn't, because I understand like the clicking is the physical mechanism inside the old wristwatch, like when there were cogs and dials and wheels and all that, all the good like timing mechanisms that made, you know, pocket watches that were on a little string and the wristwatch and all those cool antiques. That the clicking is the physical mechanism clicking. I understand that, but then I think it was Rolex or one of those big watch companies made a second hand that didn't have the click, but just smoothly went around. Now, you don't need to see it. I still think it's pointless to see it, but at least it wasn't clicking and audibly telling you. Like, could you imagine, dude, on this device, oh, shit, better get rid of that. Lucky I didn't just pull that up. Could you imagine on this device, this is a common display of an iPhone. See this app right here? That there is called the clock. Could you imagine if this was ticking every second? So you pick your, like even not picking it up, just having the phone, because there's a clock on the front, right? Imagine if that was clicking, click, click, click every second. Are you serious? I can guarantee everybody would turn that off. Oh, where's my settings? I'm going to deactivate that second hand. I don't want to hear it click, click literally every second. So why do we have it on walls? Seiko? Might have been. Do I wear a watch, Gibbs? No, I don't. You're on one right now, slave. The sound of pressure. The sweeping of the hand, drip on the head. Yeah. Hammer time. I was about to buy an Apple Watch Ultra. I guess it would have been, what is it now, March? I guess it would have been September or October last year. I looked at the Apple Watch 3 Ultra and I really thought about it for my health and safety, you know, old man surfing and, you know, there was a point there when someone was looking out for me and I was like, well, I should get an Apple Watch so that I'm contactable if something goes wrong out there, at least, you know, shared location, and then you can find out where I'm at and blah, blah. But then you know what happened? I looked at that Apple Watch Ultra, and this is the first time that I've ever done this. I didn't like the look of it. The aesthetics of how that thing sits on the wrist, and like there was one side of it had like a pretty large bevel or like an I guess it's a button. Yeah, it's a button, but it was a big, long, rectangular button, and it stuck out the side of the. It when you held it up or when you looked at it square on, it didn't look like a nice svelte rectangle. It looked like an unusually shaped rectangle with a big block on the side, and I just thought to myself, I'd rather die than have an ugly looking watch. No, I didn't think that, but I was like, do I really want? I don't like. You know what I thought? I thought, I've gone without one for this long, so at some point they will make these look better and they'll be cleaner and like more powerful and all that other stuff. So I'll just wait for the Apple Watch Ultra 4 and see if they change the shell shape or whatever. They're ugly. That's what I thought, man. And I don't mind the look of the old, like the regular series watches. I think they look pretty rad. But the Ultra is the one that I need for surfing and for all the other features. So when they can get the Ultra looking like the regulation series, then maybe I'll think of it again. A fitness band will be good just for health. It's not just for health. It's more. I kind of got wrapped up in, a little while ago in my life, there was someone who was very interested in where I was for safety and finding out where I'm at, and we were sharing location. And I thought that was it's something that I hadn't considered before, but there is like a concern, especially when surfing, because I surf alone nearly all the time. Like if I surfed 7 days, 6 of them, 5 of them will be alone, and then the 2 of them might be someone else on a bank, like 2 banks away or something. And so the idea of having a phone or a watch that's on my wrist, and if something goes wrong, not only can I be tracked where I am, but also you can call from it for an extra $5 a month. I worked it out with Optus, $5 a month on your existing phone plan, and you get a SIM in that watch, and then you can make phone calls from it. So I could be like, hey, I've taken a wipeout and I broke an ankle, or no, even worse, I broke my wrist. So I'm having a lot of trouble paddling. It's a big day. I can't get back in. I'm going to just float around here, but can you like send someone out? And I'd call SOS or someone. I'll be like, hey, I'm surfing here and I'm having difficulty. I might be able to get back to shore, but I'm going to need help when I get there. I got to go to a hospital or something, But I didn't. And now the more I talk about it, the more I'm talking myself into doing it again. But then I don't like the look of that watch. Another tracking device. I'll skip one of those. Thanks. Yeah, no, but that's exactly what I wanted to get it for, the tracking. Yeah. My partner has multiple sclerosis, so we set up a smartwatch for things like that. So, yeah, safety. Yeah, safety. And then there's the other thing of it too. Like, I don't know, like this wasn't a reason why I was thinking it, but it would come in handy, like, like Apple Pay and listening to music. And when I did a 12K fitness walk this morning, instead of having to take this with me, I just have my watch with me, and then it plays music to my head, to my AirPods. Just all the benefits of what a phone, or the benefits of what an Apple device and the benefits of what an Apple Watch can do in 2026. Now, I was the first to poo-poo the watch when I first saw it. I remember Apple Watch Generation 1, I was like, come on, man, you serious? It's so tiny. What are you going to do? My eyesight's already hideous. Like, no, I'm not interested in that. But now they've got them to the point where they're big enough. Arguably it's not big enough, because you'd want it this big if you could, but it's big enough for someone to see, but I just think that they're ugly. So if they can somehow keep the size and lose the ugly, maybe I'll look into it again later. But either way, I think I just got off my rant. I had a little rant there. It's been a while. Hey folks, thanks for hanging out with me on the stream. I'm going to wrap it up here and get back into creating music. I've been making music today, and I've been enjoying it. Been writing some stuff, and it's all going down accordingly. It's fun. So I'm going to get back into that. I want to say thank you all for hanging out. I'll be here tomorrow. Not working tomorrow. I don't know what I've done to displease the work gods, but I haven't been working much at all. I think I'm on the out. Hey, I think I'm on the out. Make that music. Yeah. It's been fun. All right, dudes, I'll talk to you soon. Flip side tomorrow. Have a good time. Don't forget, before you go, Farkle in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with me here live on the stream. That's thanks for being here with me live. Thanks for being here live with me. I wrote that and I forgot what I wrote. Streaming every night, building up the sway. What's the lyric? But as the sight faded, I had to find my way. Now I'm hopping platforms, surfing through the fray. Surfing through the fray? Got my crew behind me, yeah, we call them givers. Chilling IRL, catching all the rivers. Farkle? Farkle in the chat, bringing lost to the grind. Farkle in the chat. Oh, and Doug said I should cover this. I'm going to cover this. Make a cover of this song. Little hip hop tune. Life's a subtle rhyme. Life is a subtle rhyme. I just farted. See ya. New Zealand's vibe, surfing waves day to night. Always looking for the next thrill, that's where I ignite. Community so solid, always shining bright. Rolling deeper, cruising for the height. From the struggle.